Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that has captivated investors and speculators for years: the potential revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Specifically, we're asking the big question: will the Iraqi dinar revalue in 2025? It's a subject surrounded by a lot of hope, speculation, and frankly, a great deal of misinformation. So our goal today is to cut through the noise, look at the facts, and understand the economic realities behind this fascinating currency. First, let's set the stage. What is currency revaluation, and why is everyone so focused on the Iraqi dinar? A revaluation is a deliberate upward adjustment of a country's official exchange rate. This is different from the day-to-day fluctuations you see in the forex market. It's a conscious policy decision made by a central bank. The excitement around the dinar stems from its history. Before the conflicts and instability of the late 20th century, the Iraqi dinar was a strong currency, worth over $3 at its peak. After years of sanctions and war, its value plummeted. The hope, or the theory, is that as Iraq rebuilds, stabilizes, and leverages its vast oil reserves, its central bank will revalue the dinar back to something resembling its former glory, creating immense wealth for those holding the currency. So, what's the argument for a revaluation in 2025? Proponents point to several positive indicators. Iraq sits on the world's fifth largest proven oil reserves. As global energy demands continue, oil revenue is the cornerstone of Iraq's economy. A stable and high oil price could, in theory, provide the economic foundation needed for the Central Bank of Iraq to support a stronger currency. Furthermore, the Iraqi government has been actively working on economic reforms. They've been making efforts to join international financial organizations like the World Trade Organization, which requires a certain level of economic stability and transparency. These steps are seen by many as precursors to a more stable and valuable currency. We've also seen the Iraqi government make moves to strengthen the dinar in the domestic market, cracking down on black market currency trading and promoting the use of the dinar over the US dollar for internal transactions. This process, often referred to as de-dollarization, is a crucial step in building confidence in the national currency. Advocates of the revaluation theory believe these are all calculated moves leading up to a significant change in the exchange rate, possibly timed for 2025 as the country continues its path toward stability. They argue that a stronger dinar would increase the purchasing power of Iraqi citizens, curb inflation, and signal to the world that Iraq is officially open for business and has overcome its troubled past. However, we have to look at this with a healthy dose of realism. The path to revaluation is filled with significant obstacles. While Iraq's oil wealth is immense, its economy is still heavily dependent on it. This lack of diversification makes it vulnerable to fluctuations in global oil prices. A sudden drop in oil prices could severely strain the government's budget and make supporting a stronger currency impossible. Economic diversification into sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism is happening, but it's a slow and challenging process that will take many years, not just one or two. Furthermore, political stability remains a persistent concern. The country is still navigating a complex political landscape. For a major economic policy change, like a revaluation to occur, you need a strong, unified government that can implement and sustain it. Any political instability could quickly derail such plans. Corruption is another major hurdle. For a revaluation to be successful and for its benefits to reach the average citizen, there needs to be a transparent and accountable financial system. While progress is being made, tackling deep-rooted corruption is a long-term battle. Most mainstream economists argue that a sudden, massive revaluation is highly unlikely and could even be detrimental, potentially shocking the economy and harming Iraq's export competitiveness. They suggest a gradual appreciation of the currency over many years is a more plausible and healthier path for the economy. Now let's address the second part of the popular question. Are there other foreign currencies ready to revalue? This is where speculation often runs wild. You might hear talk about currencies like the Vietnamese dong or the Zimbabwean dollar. Let's briefly touch on these. Vietnam has a rapidly growing, export-driven economy. It's a success story, but its government has intentionally kept the dong at a low value to make its exports cheaper and more competitive on the global market. A sudden revaluation would harm their primary economic engine. Therefore, while the dong may gradually strengthen as the economy matures, a dramatic revaluation similar to what's hoped for with the dinar is not aligned with their current economic strategy. Then there's the case of Zimbabwe. The country has faced hyperinflation for years, leading to the introduction of new currencies and the redenomination of old ones multiple times. The talk of a revaluation of old Zim bonds is almost entirely based on speculation, with little to no backing from the Zimbabwean government or central bank. The economic fundamentals simply aren't there to support such an event. It's crucial to distinguish between a country with recovering fundamentals like Iraq and a situation driven purely by hope and misinformation. The key takeaway here is to be extremely cautious. The idea of a basket of currencies all revaluing at once is a narrative popular in speculative circles, but lacks any foundation in mainstream economic policy. Each country's currency is dictated by its own unique economic conditions, policies, and challenges. So let's bring it back to the Iraqi dinar and the 2025 question. What's the verdict? While the building blocks for a stronger Iraqi economy are being put in place, oil revenue, economic reforms, and de-dollarization efforts, a sudden, dramatic revaluation by 2025 remains highly speculative. It is not an impossibility, but it is a low-probability, high-risk event. The more likely scenario, according to most financial analysts, is a slow, managed float or a gradual strengthening of the dinar over the next 5 to 10 years. Not a lottery-style windfall in the next year or so. The Central Bank of Iraq has a very delicate balancing act to perform. They want to increase the purchasing power of their citizens, but they can't risk destabilizing their entire economy by moving too quickly. Therefore, if you are considering investing in the Iraqi dinar, it's essential to do so with your eyes wide open. Understand that this is a highly speculative venture, not a traditional investment. The money you use should be money you are fully prepared to lose. Do not fall for guarantees of massive returns or inside information. The reality is that the future of the dinar is tied to the complex and unpredictable future of Iraq itself. There is potential, yes, but it is wrapped in significant risk and uncertainty. The story of Iraq's economic recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. Positive changes are happening, but they take time to solidify into the kind of fundamental strength needed to support a major currency revaluation. Thank you so much for joining me today as we unpacked this complex topic. I hope this discussion provided a balanced perspective on the potential revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. It's a fascinating subject, and we'll definitely keep an eye on developments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our future deep dives into the world of finance and economics. We love hearing from you, so please drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and invest wisely.